Hello, hello, welcome. In just a moment, I'm gonna get set up. I'm staring at a thing. I should be staring at my test stream. We're gonna be doing some game dev. We're just focused on being productive, not streaming for very long. Oh no. My stream is glitching. There we go. Okay. Okay. We're good. Sorry about that. I'm a little frazzled because it is it's Monday. Anyway, we are going to be doing just a simple little basic stat sheet. That's all we're focused on. We're going to have 2 skills. We are going to set this up so that all players have this. Some monsters might have this. I don't know. Let's keep our options open. Let's program it with the expectation that anything can take this. We could have an item that has a sword skill and a shield skill. I don't know. I did spend like several hours just looking at the code and going, okay, I can add a basic stat sheet, but this is an RPG. We're gonna have a lot of stats. We're gonna have levels. We're gonna have spell casting. It's right there. We might have crafting. We might have other stats. We're gonna have mobs. Mobs are gonna have their own stats. We got a lot of stats. Should I just make a god stat component, like an everything stat component? And I thought about this. In some levels, it would be simple and convenient. What I also thought about doing, and I don't think is a good idea, but I spent a lot of time thinking about, is what if we create a stat component and we don't put anything in that component, but we create subcomponents and then we just pick and choose with composition what exactly we need for whatever. So like, we have an everything stat component. Players get a stat component for their level. Monsters don't have a level. They don't need to gain experience. They don't need to level up. So monsters have a stat component. We don't give them a level component. I feel like that is going to be more complicated than it's worth for us. There might be a world where that's the best call. But we're not doing that. We're going to make a new component. It is a stat component. No, we're not making a everything stat thing. This is just going to be a combat stat component. Okay. This is going to encapsulate all of the stats you need to manage the combat handler. Combat component, sorry. The combat component has a range, a base attack cooldown. We're going to move these out into the combat stat component. The idea is that we're not going to necessarily move these out. We're going to have some defaults if you don't have a combat stat component. Use the defaults. But if you do have a combat stat component, use those instead. And then we will set up the combat stat component to say, let's track how often you're using this. And then if you are set to be something that can level up every time you attack, increase the stat just a little bit. And then finally, we have to make a UI to capture all of this stuff. I think that means we need to use a synchronizer. And setting that up, we've done that before. We did that for the state component. So it's not like too much, but I also want this to be able to accept a mob data resource block and then work with that. That shouldn't be a problem. That shouldn't be a problem. We just need to be cognizant of that. So let's start. We've got a combat stack component. I don't think that's the name of the script. First of all, we're all lowercase all the time. Move this into here. Yes. As a script, we need to create the object handler. We need to set up the object handler to handle this new thing we just invented. I wish I could just press a button and it will automatically create this function, but thought I hit. Okay. And then we go back and we define this class. And then we need to set this up so that we register it automatically. Probably want to keep track of the parent. Nope. I don't need this. Okay, and then we don't need this. All we need to do is keep track of, I don't want to hard code the variables, but I might hard code the variables anyway. We might have a situation where like, as a combat stack component, we naturally have an offense. No. We have a sword skill and a shield skill that we need to manage. That's all that I want to manage right now. Do I be nice to myself and I set up a situation where I can easily add more? I think I do. Let's go to our state component. We're just going to copy the logic here. But here I'm working with ints, and is it okay? Okay, let me look up something because I'm just thinking. I'm thinking faster than I can talk. Multiplayer synchronizer, Godot 4. Define a class to synchronize. Is it possible for me to? So this will only pass primitives by default. But what if What if I define the class? Can I tell it to synchronize my custom class? Is there some sort of magic thing I can do? Not supported for object type properties. No. Okay, so that's we can do something where we're like get int property, set int property, and then we'll just create a huge bucket of properties. But I won't call them properties, I'll call them skills. I have this combat handler. Is this doing anything? This feels like I don't know. We've got a combat stack component. I need to take the code from the state component and copy it in here because I would rather recycle this logic and keep things flexible. In the long term, that'll pay off. In the short term, it's a little bit of a headache. This works, right? Because I'm a little like, how am I synchronizing? I'm synchronizing this int property. That makes sense. But how am I synchronizing the node? How is that working? I know this works because the torch works. Like, this code works, but I'm suddenly confused. Okay, and then the state component is a multiplayer synchronizer, but I don't want to make the combat stack component a multiplayer synchronizer. Or do I? I guess there's not. That's actually not bad. Right? Okay. So we've got this backbone int property management. So we can just shove as much as we want into this combat stack component. What we can do is every time we want to query what our skill is for a particular skill, we go to the combat stack component. We say, what's the skill? If the skill exists, combat stack component gets it, returns it, we're good. If it doesn't exist, the combat stack component can just create it. Like the first time you use a sword, before you use a sword, you don't have a sword skill at all. But the first time you use a sword, you get a sword skill. We can do that. We can work with that. I think that is a logic that we can keep working. Now, Do I want to? I'll just keep calling this int property. But I think what I want to do is make this internal. No one outside of this should be calling any of these functions. Instead, func get skill skill name which will return an int. And here we set ourselves up to not do that, but I don't think that's the life that we're going to have going forward. Okay, is there a min int? Godot min int variable or constant actually? Yeah, I want to know if this exists. I want to be able to say get int property. If it exists, great. If not, set int add int property and then return that. Why don't I do that? This is all internal. Why don't I just do that? Like, great. There we go. Return get int property skill name. That's not quite what I want. Because I don't want to just return the raw int. Or do I? Maybe I divide it by 1,000. I don't know. Let's just stick with this for now. Func train skill. No, we should set a variable for like train. And then we can, if I'm just gonna do okay. Oh, doing moderation on things that are already auto-modded. Great. Return skill value plus skill increment. Or actually, I could just do that. I guess it actually, this could be something that I pass in. Get skill, train skill. Okay. Let's just go with that for now. We need to add this to the player. Only players get. This is not the right thing. We need this. Nope, this is not the right thing either. I would like the combat handler to go, do you have a combat stack component? If not, it's cool. Theoretically, in the future, we should be able to say, do you have a combat stack component? No. Throw an error. We shouldn't have that in the long run. But for now, let's go to our. First of all, let me just make sure like this still works. All of the functionality we implemented should have 0 effect. What? Oh. Oh, yeah. Just to verify that this game works. Okay. So we're okay so far. We need to next the combat handler needs to go. Do you have this skill that I'm thinking of? If so, use that skill. Right. This isn't doing anything. This is just the logic behind this thing can attack. Oh, actually, the combat component should be what's doing that. That's annoying though. I don't want to make the combat component dependent on the combat stack component. Or do I? That wouldn't be terrible. That way I can guarantee everything that has a combat component also has a combat stack component. I can do that. That does put me in a weird situation though, where I have a component of a component. I guess that's fine. I just shouldn't register this. I shouldn't register this like this. I should register it with the combat component. Yeah, okay. So instead of what I've done, let's go ahead and just take this whole thing, copy, paste. There we go. Okay, we don't need this anymore. Get that out of here. Right, we added this to the player. We don't need to add that to the player anymore. Get that out of here. Okay, now we'll go to the combat component. When we create this, we can just pretend this function doesn't exist. I'll clean it up later. I think we have to wait. Var stat component. What? Oh, deleting this makes this not a thing anymore. Not to worry. We will just create a new node. This is the wrong thing. There we go. We'll just, this doesn't exist anymore. Okay, let's demote this to a subcomponent. And now we have the stat component here. We can call functions. So first of all, if getParent is player, we have a variable isPlayer. Great. Okay. Get skill, train skill. Okay, is this happening only on the server? This must be happening only on the server, because otherwise this can't be happening because we don't have the authority. Instead of doing 1 damage, we should do get skill. Do we have a weapon? I don't want to hard code it, but I think I have to hard code it just to get over this hump, because go in the inventory component. Is there a sword? If so, do 4 damage, plus whatever your skill is. Maybe I should call this combat skill component instead of combat stat component. Just so I don't get confused in the near future. Maybe I shouldn't call it a component. Combat skill properties. No, combat skill. Nah, just keep calling it a component for now. Okay. This is going to break the object handler. That's fine. I have no regrets. Can I just... Can I just revert the object handler? Oh no, because I haven't saved it since I added the light component. That's fine. Okay, so what I don't want to do is I don't want the combat component to go into the player, get the inventory, look through the inventory for a weapon, and then boom. That's a mess. Maybe we have a handler whose job it is. The combat component passes itself and the inventory to the handler, and then the handler says, all right, here's your weapon. Here's a weapon. Or here's a shield or whatever. Equipment handler? All of my handlers are globals. I think that's fine. We can have... let me actually create it first. Equipment handler. Hold on, wait. What I also don't want is every time I attack, I check my inventory to make sure that I haven't, like, done anything. I would rather this be a thing that happens on the inventory. Every time I change my inventory, we check to see what the active weapon is, what the active shield is, etc., and so forth. And then the combat and then we update the combat handler. I am more okay with that. So we have an item slot. Do I want to create in like equipment? have to. I don't want to get stuck, so I'm just going to do the dumb thing. Var weapon item var shield item. Stage 2, we'll figure this thing out properly. Let me just to do stage 2, make this not dumb. Okay, and then whenever we add an item to the inventory, do we have a remove item from inventory function? We just have add item to inventory. Let's have a signal inventory changed. Every time we swap, every time we add an item to the inventory, every time we drop an item from the inventory, we're just going to call a function that goes through our inventory and says weapon, shield, armor, and it sets that up. And then once we have this, we just, in the combat handler, we can just look at this variable and say, is this true? Yes? Okay. Otherwise, blah. And this is just a placeholder. Prevent circular, I'm leaving to-dos for myself all over the place. Inventory changed. Okay, and we're going to do that here in swap items as well. And then we're going to have a function here called equip. Okay, and then for slot in item slots. If slot dot item slot equals we should how are we okay, item data. Does this give us a name? Do we have a name for the things that we're putting in here? How do I tell what an item is? Oh, there's a class name. Okay. That doesn't seem scalable. We should just have a name. Do I need this class name? Let me just. I don't think I need this class name. I can just have a name variable. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. We have a class name. We'll just, is this a sword? Then weapon equals the item slot. And just to verify, that is an item. Okay, yes. Else if slot dot item slot is shield equals slot dot item slot. Elif slot dot item slot is chest armor equals Oh, and then we need to weapon equals null, shield equals null, armor equals null. Why is expression is of type item, so it can't be of type sword? What? An item can't be. Oh. Yeah, okay. Item dot data. Item data. What a mess. I'm gonna have to clean this up. Okay, but we have the function that we need. Var. Nope. What is it? Inventory changed dot connect. Equip. We're done. We can just run. We can just run this. Look at the remote. Look at the, where's the player? Look at the inventory component. We've got a weapon, a shield. Invalid access to property or key item data on a base object of type null. Oh, if slot dot item data. Obviously, we can't look at the item data if there is no item data. Okay. That's not working. But is it possible it's not working because we're not on the server? We're not synchronizing this variable because we don't care. Okay, easy way to tell if this is working. It is working. Well, dip. Oh shoot, deleting the item didn't get rid of it. Okay. To do, I'll add it here. To do, we need a delete item function. We can't have items deleting themselves and then not telling anyone that they've been deleted. That won't fly long term. Okay, now I need to figure out why this isn't working. Okay, we're looking at all the slots. That's correct. Okay. We got a bread. It is a resource. Oh, that's the problem. We got a shield. It is a resource. It is not a shield. Damn it. What's the point of this? Do I, Godot get class name of resource. Getting the custom class name. Yes. Get script.get global name. Oh. Oh, we really gotta clean this up. I might do that off stream. Oh, let me look at the inventory component. It still doesn't work. Okay. Just to make sure that that's not... Yeah, no, it still doesn't work. Okay. Torch. You know what the problem probably is? That's a string, not a class, not an object. All right. Here we go. I feel it. Yeah, we have a shield now. All right. All we have to do is in our combat component, we have to get the inventory component of the parent and go, is there a sword? If so, great. First of all, get rid of all these print lines. Just out of curiosity, hook into health component. Why did I write that to do? Exclude from server. Yeah. Changes so. Oh yeah, that's a good to do. Bounce check. Oh yeah, these are all good to dos. Okay. Is that a? Did I have a breakpoint? No, I hallucinated it. It's fine. Back to what I was doing. We go to the combat handler. First of all, I meant the combat component. If we don't have an attack target, return. If we don't have an attack target health component, try and get it. If we still don't have one, just don't bother. Just give up. If we do have an attack and they're in range, Then we need a, let's just make a new function instead of this. Who's calling strike target? Because that's a good name. Func, calculate, attack. Okay, we need to pass in the attack target. Oh, I don't need to pass that in because that's actually not. This function just works because all the variables are not internal. Let's get the parent. Where's the parent? We're just calling get parent? Oh, that's messy. Why? Let's fix that. And then we should probably not check it on every attack. We should just check it like here. Var damage equals why is that a string? Oh, because this is a chat message. Got it. Let's go ahead and if component dot sword, is that what I had? Weapon. I call that weapon. Then let's get the sword skill for the combat skill component. skill component dot get skill sword. This is fine. Where's this attack target health component? We should also have attack target inventory component. Let's just this should work. This should, like, sword should make us do more damage. We have sword. We should do more damage now. I also would like to just witness. This is not the right thing. I would also just like to witness our skills going up. Yeah, we're doing 4 damage. Why did that go there? Okay. I don't have a property node? Doesn't seem right. Oh, that's a lot of errors. What on earth? We can't synchronize this because, yeah, this is the problem before. This node exists here, but it does not exist on the client. Also, this number is 0. But we should be training it. But, like, also, oh, how does the state update on this item? Is the torch? Oh, this is a mob. That's not a torch. This is the torch? Yeah, we have a state component fuel and active. But if we go to the client, fuel and active. Wait a minute. Why do those exist here, but they don't exist? But the same didn't happen for my stats. Did I goof? What did I do for the state property to make that work? When I create a node, how does the client know? Am I RPCing? Set in property. Is it because I'm creating, is it because this init is running both on client and server? I mean, what I could do, this is dumb, but what I could do, maybe it's not dumb. Let's go to the combat stat component. And let's add a multiplayer spawner. And then we give it a spawn path of here. And then we tell it to spawn nodes. It's just gonna be nodes. It's just node. Like, I don't. Nope, that didn't work. It's important that I figure this out so that I can adjust the state of an object as well. Nope, I'm not. That's not working either. All right. Sorry, multiplayer spawner. Do I really have to create a scene just for a node? I'll do it, but I hate it. Subcomponent property. Because it's just defined here as an inner class, but can I do that? No, this wants me to give it a scene. It won't settle for anything less. Just to verify. Yeah, no, it's blowing up. It's mega blowing up. All right. we good? I can go ahead and go to the combat here. And then instead of a null, what if we just pass in this? Boom. Oh, no. There we go. Class hides a global script. Okay. It's not working. Why is it not working? Shoot. Do I have to call like a spawn function? This should be an auto spawn. So it's possible that this isn't working because well, it's looking for an int state property, but I'm adding a node. I'm actually adding a node called sword. Crap. Maybe if I, instead of calling new, what if I call instantiate? Nope, that's the wrong. Let's go to the combat stack component. Instead of calling new, call instantiate. The alternative is to RPC a call to, it didn't work. Okay, just to verify. Yes, we have a thing called sword. It is an int state property, which is correct. But if we look at the client, nah, it's not there. Also, wait a minute, where's the spawner? Hold on. Where's the spawner? Am I insane? Wasn't there a spawner? Did I? Is it just because I never saved? Where's the spawner? Oh! Oh my god. Right, this is just a leftover. Was it not working because I just didn't have a... I just... Damn it. Okay, so if I just do this... Oop. No, that doesn't work. Okay, and I can't just be like node. No, that doesn't work either. Okay, but all that work that we did, not wasted? Question mark? Damn it. It is wasted. Why doesn't that why is it not replicating? Okay. There is a sword. It did replicate. There it is. Why is this? Why do we have a million billion errors? Combat sword int property not found. Component sword int property not found. It's right there. Like, I don't want to be rude, but it's there. I'm seeing it. Okay. Let's try adding some print lines, because, well, this is annoying. So we're looking for a thing in combat stack component. Oh, it's called combat stack component. Damn it. No, that wasn't the problem. All right. Okay, so first of all, are we calling this multiple times? We're adding an int property. We did it. We added it one time. We added it the correct number of times. We're adding it and then we're never setting it. Okay. Well, that's incorrect. If the node.name is equal to the int.name, Okay. Oh, we're not calling this function at all. Okay. Set int property. Oh. Are we just not getting over this hump of can train? Let's just always train then. I'm confused. We have this property here. Now, why isn't this a node? Why isn't there a circle here like this? I am confused. Oh, I'm confused. But this is okay. So this is 3, which is correct. But this is the server, right? What is it on the client? It's 0, and the reason it's 0 is because we're trying to synchronize combat skill component / sword int property. And I don't see why that doesn't work. Like, that should work. That should just work. What do you mean cannot not found? Param object is null. Wait a minute. Maybe the root node should be that. Why? God, this is stupid. Why can we not synchronize this number? It's an int, right? Let's go look at this. It's an int. This should synchronize. Since we've made this its own scene, we could just put a synchronizer in here. I can't believe I'm doing this. And then if we're doing that, we don't need to do this at all. What a cluster. Yeah, it works now. What's the error, though, that we're hitting? Can't emit non-existing signal into property set. I guess this only happens on the server? Oh, wait. When do I not connect? Oh. Oh, I don't even declare that signal. Yeah, okay, that's fair. All right, whatever. I mean, this is dumb, but if it works, whatever. And then I'll just have to make the state component. And then we'll set up a multiplayer spawner for state component, because as is, that stuff is broken. Kind of. Anyway, this is a mess. I'm gonna clean it up offline. I'm gonna make it very clean offline. We're gonna go back to the combat component. We need to get the attacker inventory. We know that there's an attack target. Okay, var attack target inventory equals object handler dot get inventory component attack target. If attack target inventory, if attack target dot armor damage minus equals 1. And damage is greater than 1. Var attack target skill component dot get dot Nah, you know what? Let's just put that check at the very end. Okay, if there's a skill component, Okay. Now we should have shield training based on that, what I've written. Let's look at it in here. Doesn't exist yet because we have not used a shield ever. There's our shield. Okay. It's working. I'm gonna stop here, but there's one more thing I want to test before I do. And then I'm gonna commit myself to cleaning up the code a lot offline. And then next time, what we're gonna do is start working on spells. And that's gonna be a complicated affair. And this is what I want to test. Okay, that's bad. What? Why is it broken but only in the top row? That's bad. Oh. What the fuck? I'm sorry, what? Great. Well, I didn't want to stop anyway. Let's keep going. Okay. This is which item? No, that's a health potion. Health potion. Bag. Shield. 3 item. Okay. Okay, 3 item, there you are. And you don't have a sprite anymore. Oh, right. No, that's good. That's correct, actually. The sprite came back. That shouldn't have happened. That tells me that actually this is fine, except we just got a cosmetic issue. Which is fine, but no, we crashed the game earlier, so it's not that simple. Why is this happening? Let's go to our code that is doing the parenting and the unparenting. I did say last time that this was fragile code, so I'm not like... I thought of a way to make it more robust. Yeah, how's it going? Well, it could be going better. Yeah, the sprite is just sometimes bouncing over there. Okay. Let me think. So first of all, animated sprites are different. So does this have the same problem? It does. Okay, it's the same problem. Okay. When we add an item, first, we have to make sure that we're not adding an item to itself. Then we disconnect the onDestroyed signal. Okay, what if I completely fill my inventory? Yep. That's happening. Great. It's almost like there's a swap issue. Actually, that makes it pretty clear that there's a swap issue. It's okay. Okay, I'm noticing a pattern. So if we put it here, it doesn't work. But if we move to the right or we move down, it works. But if we move up, it doesn't work. Or if we move to the left, it doesn't work. Okay, that's a curious piece of definitely something wrong with the swap. Where's the swap function? No, I don't. There we go. Okay, we'll call inventory components to swap items. Okay. Okay, what's probably going on is when we set the slot 1 item slot to be parent. I'm not entirely sure why I'm setting that. When we're changing slot 1, I'm sleepy. I can't think right now. Okay. This is where the swap is happening. So slot 2 item slot. Slot 2 if we do this, slot 2 becomes slot 1, or slot 1 gets shoved into slot 2, which will, depending on the order of things, free one of the sprites Okay, let's say slot 1 contains a torch and slot 2 contains a potion. We take the potion, then we put the torch into the potion slot, so the potion sprite gets orphaned temporarily. The torch gets put where it belongs, and it's fine. But the potion will snap back to the item itself. The sprite will snap back to the item, and then this should send it back, but I guess it's not. We can just set a lot of breakpoints. Let's figure this out. We grab a torch. We grab bread. We bring this up. There's our inventory. We've got a color rect here and a color rect here. And then let's swap and see what happens. So, okay, torch to bread. They're both here. Okay, and these aren't the same thing, so we jump past that. We disconnect a signal, whatever. And then we go through this, no longer there. Okay, that's fine. And then we should move this up here, right? Oh no. Why did we delete this? And replace it with nothing? I'm confused. And now it's gone. And also now we're down here. What? That's weird. The heck? Alright, let's look at that again. So right now we got nothing. Let's fill it up. Okay. Let's swap 2 into swap 1. What does that look like? We are currently... X is bread. Yeah. And the item in the inventory is a armor? Yeah. Okay. So if we proceed... Why are we... Okay. If UI sprite, remove it. Then add it to the item. Oh, we can't add this because it's already parented here. Oh, we need to unparent this sprite before we can continue. And we think we're doing that here, but we're not. But what we can do instead of this, what we can do is UI sprite dot get parent dot remove child UI sprite. If we do that, all right, let's try again, but no breakpoints. That should just fix the problem. That should fix one problem. Excuse me, I said no breakpoints. Take notes from dark and darker for what not to do in a dungeon crawler. I'll get right on it. So this problem fixed. Now we can swap to our heart's content. All right, and then we open this up and look at that. We can put things. This is what I originally wanted to test. If we take the sword and shield out of our inventory, yeah, okay. And then we put it, we equip it, and then we should start hitting for 4. We should start hitting for 4. Oh no. Where's my sword? Hold on. Combat component. We don't even have the nodes. Oh, because that's in the inventory component. My bad. Yeah, weapon. There's the armor, and yet we don't have it. Damn it. Every time we do a swap, we should be emitting this signal inventory changed, and that should call equipped. Right? Yeah. Okay, we're checking our equip. We're checking our equip. We're checking our equip. Good, good, good. Get these out of here. We're checking our equip. Yeah. Why am I not just looking at this? This is an easier way to check. We're not checking our equip. Why is it not? Okay, surely this works. When did we break this if this doesn't work? Yeah, we have a weapon now. All right. If we get a bag. Why we have a weapon, but why not oh, it's empty. Oh, it's back. I'm confused. Why are we not getting credit for the shield and the armor? But we are getting credit for the weapon? Okay, I don't think this works on the client. And that's fine. That's fine. It's an internal state. It does not need to be propagated. There we go. Works so far. What if I move this down here? Okay, now we don't have a sword anymore. Now we don't have... Okay. I'm guessing there's some sort of missing missing signal. We're not sending the signal. If we are the remote inventory component, we are not emitting the signal for the remote inventory component. And we should emit I don't know if this works. Not declared in the current scope. It's literally right there. Oh, remote, not remove. All right, here's the strategy. We get all the items. Then we open up the bag. We shove all the items in the bag. We go fight a bat. After we fight the bat, our stats suck. We equip the sword mid-fight. Yeah. Yeah, we just got stabbing all of a sudden. All right, we have armor now. We're jiggling. Okay. Okay, this is what I wanted to make sure. I can take off my sword, and then now we're fighting poorly. And we equip the sword. Why did it crash? Invalid assignment of property or key item slot with value type previously freed. Nothing should have been previously freed. Oh, I don't know why that's happening. Not figuring that out. We're just stopping here. I'm out of time. I'm past time. I've got a lot of code to clean up. But done. We're going to spend the rest of the week implementing the basic spell and MP. Oof. Probably going to be rough, but we'll get there. And then dropping items should be simple. Dungeon level 2, not simple. And then it just gets worse from there. So still on track. Still on track. We'll just keep on rolling until we have a game. That's what it takes. Anyway, I am gonna head out. Hope y'all have enjoyed this. Hope y'all are doing well. Hope you're having fun with your games. Hope your game dev is going well. I'll be streaming tomorrow. Until then.